Welcome to the next video where I'm going to take you through my very first gameplay of the Foglands, which I'm playing on Sony PlayStation PS VR2. Actually Sony PS VR2, just to get the title right. So what we have here is a Western shooter. As you'll see with some of the other VR games, it obviously uses these. Do we still call them move controllers? I don't know, whatever. I do need to find out what these things are called. It's a standard trigger, point at things, choose your menus and whatnot. So I had no idea what the Foglands was. I'd obviously heard of it. I wasn't familiar with what type of game it was, which I generally like to do on some of these games, is just going cold. Possibly not wise, because I have sort of played some games that aren't quite in my wheelhouse, so to speak, to use a word that I use probably more often than I should. Don't know where I picked that up from. But yes, you use your controllers, you point, you select, and so on. It's pretty easy controls to do. A little bit of an intro storyline for the game there. See, what you're seeing now is the footage that was recorded through my headset, so you know.
Welcome back. Another round for old time's sake. Deal me in.
So with the majority of the VR games that I seem to have discovered, your hands are your controls. So you know, you can browse around and just work out how the game mechanics work. The immersion in this game was pretty cool, actually. Very sort of steampunkish, so lots of green mist everywhere and stuff. Now the controllers, you could move your left controller forward and it would glide you. I was quite happy to see that. Some games don't. Some games are sort of, you jump forward in increments each time you press your button. Not a huge fan of those controllers. So this was quite nice that you could move forward with that. If you wanted to do your left and right though, that's when your other stick comes in. You got a bit of jump button there as well, which was quite nice, very easy to... I like it when the controllers for games are standard, as I like to call them, the Call of Duty controls. You know, your first person shooter controls. So you sort of know instinctively which buttons to push and how the game works. And with it being VR, you pick things up, and you get to throw things in this one. So it did take me a little moment or two to get used to the throwing mechanics. So you pick it up, you sort of, you know, you click your whichever button this is. You pick a can up in your hand and then chuck it. And I think the first time I threw it, I kind of dropped it more than anything else. I wasn't a very good thrower, but it's okay. There's more than one can lying on the ground, so you could just give it another go. You could pick up the can with either hand, so whichever hand you're dominant with, pick it up and then just chuck it, or drop it as the case may be on that. To get a little bit closer to that sign, I thought was easy. I hadn't quite got used to throwing mechanics, but then with one throw, hit it, down comes the bridge, back up the stairs. Let's get across the bridge to the next part of the game. I just thought I'd throw another rock just for the sake of it, to be honest. But it's not just throwing. You pull levers. Opens doors. Now whenever you see the screen fade into black and then coming back in, that's when I've hit the sort of change angle button, which that does take a little bit of getting used to. How do I get through planks? Punch them. Punch the planks.
Marion, It's all
And then I
boarded
can
up.
move on to the next. I explained in a previous thing, I think, that with PlayStation VR2, it's quite good exercise. Even though you're sitting down, you're still getting a little bit of arm exercise. So I didn't really have a clue what I was doing in the Foglands, to be honest. I just sort of just randomly pick things up and chuck them and hope for the best. I'm never really a fan of the introduction levels to games. I get why you need an introduction level to a game, because it needs to show you what the hell you're supposed to do. But just drop me in the game and let me work it out myself. No, a tried and tested and successful technique, I might add. So with the airs, you can tell I'm not really familiar with this game. I couldn't quite work out what I was doing, how I got through, but I ended up in this saloon room, which I'm now entering now. There's nobody else there. I could pick up bottles. Whenever there's a little white dot, you know, I can pick that up. So I could do something with it. It's very sort of graphically cartoony, which I quite like. Obviously it doesn't feel crazy realistic, because obviously you look at it and you are playing a video game, so. I think with this game it's more just wander around. See what's what, see what you can smash, see what you can throw. And I found a gun range, which I did get quite excited about, because, you know, using one of these as a gun controller. John Wick I'm not, but
ain't real accustomed to
gets
these
me
things.
closer. So found a gun, managed to fire off a couple of shots, not crazy accurate. But with these controllers it always feels realistic. Feels a lot more realistic, because obviously your hand is in the gun position naturally in these controllers. And it is better than the PSVR1, which was the microphone type thing. So I had the gun, trying to work out, you know, how to load it. I didn't quite. You can see me struggling how to load the damn thing. So I was trying to cock the gun, and I dropped it, picked it up. It's fine. Still can't load it. So I'm starting getting a bit confused here, and then I dropped the gun, and then I couldn't find the gun. So for some reason, the gun just disappeared. The thing is with these, not just with PS games, but generally with most video games, I know a lot of people, including me, that will play them for 5-10 minutes and just feel stuck. Not know what they're doing, think, well, this isn't fun, I'm stuck, I don't know where's my gun gone, blah blah blah, and then sort of give up. Don't give up on things like these. I mean, it's a little bit trickier with the VR games, because the longer you play the VR, the more sort of the car sickness can come get you. But I think just persevere with them. They are puzzles. You know, VR is a pretty new technology for us all, and we're not gonna. It's Space Invaders ain't. You know, it's a little bit more intricate than Space Invaders or Pac-Man or Defender or something like that. There's a lot more going on, and yeah, I'd stick with it. So, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the immersion in the Foglands was really, really good. It was, I think, a little bit better than it felt more VR than The Seventh Guest, which I've done another short video on, which was also good, but you know, this one was better. I like the fact that it's a shooty game, even though I can't find my gun. I don't know where it is. So I never really got into, on this playthrough, the actual shooting aspect of it. I also couldn't work out how to get through this door. I suspect that I needed to finish the gun range level before the door opened and got me through. but I sort of struggled trying to find the damn revolver. I still, to this day, I still don't know where my revolver went. I could see the icon on the floor, but I sort of pressed around and played with the buttons and thought maybe there's a draw button to bring the gun out, and I don't know. If anybody does know where my gun went or how to get it back, drop me a comment, because I'm a little bit stuck. I never claimed to be a hardcore gamer. And there are a lot of hardcore gamers out there who are probably looking at this video going, how stupid are you? But there's also a lot of people like me who are casual gamers, who do enjoy games, and who maybe aren't as good as some of you. So we do need a little bit of charity and a little bit of guidance. So I would recommend the Foglands. I think it's very good. I love the immersion. Didn't feel any sort of motion sickness whatsoever. It does look like a fun game. I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure that I don't drop my gun. So 2 joypads up to the Foglands.